So multiplying polynomials by monomials. What is that really? Because there's something we've actually done before. Just by looking at the title for today. What do you think we'll be doing? What sort of property will be helpful for us to do when you have this multiplying polynomials by monomials? Yeah, what do you think?
Just I guess property of reciprocals?
Property of reciprocal? No,
Property of
not quite. No. What do you? This is something we actually did many times. Multiplying polynomials by monomial. Yes, sir. Distributive property is exactly right. Because isn't that what we do when you multiply, right? When you distribute, you're multiplying a monomial times polynomial, which happens to be, for many of these cases, was a binomial, something like this, right? Haven't we done something like this before? Y times x minus 2, right? What's y? Y is the monomial. And what's your polynomial this time? X minus 2. It happens to be binomial. Does it have to be a binomial? No. It could be trinomial. It could be, you could have more than 3 terms, right? All right, so what do you think I should do first here? How about Alvin?
Distribute y.
Distribute y to x minus 2. But I don't like subtraction. So I should change it to addition. That's right. So I get y times x plus negative 2 in parentheses. Okay, then tell me what to write next. Yes?
xy plus negative 2y.
That's right. Now notice what I do. I actually show that work. And I know that that's kind of very simple, but for tonight's homework, I would like you to show this sort of work. I know that a lot of you could do it in your head. But as these things get more interesting, okay, that's where people seem to make silly mistakes. So write out the step where you actually multiply. Show me how you distribute that y. You see what I mean? Okay, write out the step for me today. Does that make sense? And you're gonna thank me later when you're taking a test, and you will say, hold on. So there we go. Any question? Okay. Do you see why I want you to show this sort of work? Okay, I know that some of you could do this in your head, but as like I said, you find you won't make silly mistakes if you start doing it this way, okay? Because that's when we get in trouble, try to do it in our head, and we forget like one little thing and the whole thing's wrong. Okay, let's look at example 2 then. Okay. So let's look at example 2 now. I have instead of binomial, we have trinomial. So my first step should be, because I have subtraction for negative 1, right, or minus 1. So go ahead, Victor, tell me what to write.
Well, first change it to addition.
Right?
So negative 3x parentheses 2x squared plus 4x plus negative 1.
That's right. And you're going to multiply this negative 3x, right, throughout all these terms inside. We have 3 of them. So since we have 3 terms, how many times do you think we're going to be multiplying negative 3x? 3 times. And do you think it's a good idea to recognize that there is invisible 1 for x, right? X to the first power, 4x to the first power, and so forth. Go ahead, everybody try. But you know this kind of step I want, right? Don't just do this in your head. Write it out. Write out the step. Actually, let's do this one together. Okay, so what do you think I should write next? Don't just tell me what I get as the answer. What's my next step? I want you to write out this multiplication. Yes, what do you think?
Negative 3x parentheses 2x squared plus
Good.
plus negative 3x
Uh-huh.
parentheses 4x
Right?
plus negative 3x and parentheses negative 1.
That's right. Guys, for tonight's homework, and like I said, you're going to thank me later when you take the test and quiz. Write this out. Write this step out. It doesn't take you that long, but you will not make silly mistakes, okay? Whereas if you just do it in your head, you forget one little thing and the whole thing's wrong. Okay, then once you do this, okay, tell me what to write next. Ali?
I got negative 6x cubed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you want me to do the plus negative?
No, that's okay. Just tell me plus.
Minus 12x squared
Uh-huh.
plus 3x.
That's right. And of course, I could just use the definition of subtraction to rewrite this as negative 6x cubed minus 12x squared plus 3x. Okay. Any question? Does that make sense? Okay, go ahead and try example 3 then, showing that sort of work that I just showed it to you. Okay, go ahead, everybody try. Okay, how about, okay, Gemma, what's my first step?
4x squared
Huh?
parentheses 5x squared plus negative 2xy plus x squared. I mean y squared.
Good, okay, that's what I want. Okay, notice this is x to the first, y to the first. It's good to remember that you got that invisible exponents there once. Alright, who could tell me then what to write next? Don't just do this in your head. What should I do here? How about Benjamin?
It's 4x squared times 5x squared.
Good.
4x squared times negative 2xy plus 4 squared plus y squared.
That's right. And that's what I got. Then, when you multiply each of these binomials, not binomial, monomials together, who could tell me what I get? How about Austin?
You get 20x squared minus
20x squared, you sure?
or 20x to the fourth.
Good. 20x to the fourth plus?
minus x squared to the second, or 8x to the
Good.
second,
Uh-huh.
y
Uh-huh.
plus 4x squared y squared.
That's right. And of course, I could use, again, definition of subtraction to rewrite it as this. Okay, any question? Does that make sense? How many people got this? Raise your hand. How many people now see how to do this correctly? Raise your hand. Okay, good. Any question? Okay, that's the important part. If you know how to do this, that's what I want you to get to. So let's do example 4 together. Why do you suppose I have a star on this? Anybody have any guess as to why?
Confusing.
That's not confusing. It's just,
Very tricky.
yeah, it's a place where people make silly mistakes. First of all, look at inside the parentheses. How many terms do I have in there? Raise your hand if you think you know. How many terms do I have? Yes, how about Sarah?
4,
Do you think I have 4 terms? What are they? 2x?
3 and 3.
You think,
No, negative 3 and negative 3x.
so,
Oh,
you,
wait, no.
so, how many terms did you say? 4? So tell me what those 4 terms are. What do you think?
2x, 3, 1, and x.
Oh, 2x, 3, negative 1, and x, right? Actually, no. See, that's where people, because if you did have 4 terms, then you would have to multiply x 4 times, right? You have to distribute that. Turns out that's not the case. So be careful. It turns out, yes, what do you think?
It has 3 terms
You think it's, why do you think we have 3 terms?
because you have to distribute the inner parentheses, the 1 minus, the negative 3 to the 1 minus x.
Right. Before you do it, I don't think we have 3 terms, but because once you simplify, you end up getting just a couple. I think you get 2 terms. But we have to then, before you do anything, always what? I always tell you, always simplify. Can I simplify inside the parentheses? Yes, I should. First of all, let's write everything as addition. Okay? What do I get when I write it as addition?
2x.
How about Vlad?
So you get x times 2x plus negative 3, and then 1 minus x.
1 minus x, that's still subtraction. So how?
1 plus negative.
That's right. Then, guess what you're going to have to do first? Always simplify first, meaning, do you think I should distribute x now, or do you think I should simplify the 1 inside the parentheses? Simplify. So I should distribute this negative 3 first. Does that make sense? Remember, order of operation says you need to do the parentheses first, right? So inside the parentheses, if you could simplify, that's what you should do. So Chairman, tell me what to write. When I distribute the negative 3, what does that become?
2x plus negative 3 plus x.
That's correct. And I know I used the 3 terms, but do I really have 3 terms, or do I have 2? Once you simply, I do, because why? Anybody see why this becomes 2 terms? Raise your hand. Raise your hand without saying, oh my gosh. How about Paul?
No, you can combine 2x and 3x.
Yeah, you could combine 2x and 3x. And Gemma, what's that?
5x.
5x. Okay, does that make sense? Now, so that whole thing really, once you simplify inside the parentheses, Audrey, you get 2 terms, right? So Audrey, what should I write next?
5x squared.
Oh, don't do it in your head. Let's just write out the step. I know you could do this in your head, but what would it be? So we don't want to make silly mistakes. X times.
X parentheses 5x
Uh-huh.
plus x parentheses
That's right. And of course, when you do this, Audrey, then this becomes,
5x squared plus negative 3x.
that's right. And of course, again, using the definition of subtraction, you should simply write 5x squared minus 3x, right? Any question? Does that make sense? So do you think it's important to simplify always before you do anything? If you can, yes, it'll make your life so much easier. If you don't, could you imagine if you just blindly distributed x, right? In the very first step, you would get this whole thing wrong. Does that make sense? It's really easy to make mistakes. You could do it, but I don't recommend it because it's really easy to make mistakes, okay? Because if you distribute this x, you only distribute the x to 2x and negative 3 anyway. Anyway, so that's why you want to simplify first, okay? So that there won't be any confusion. Any question? Yes? All right. Do you think you could do this yourself, by yourself? All right, I'll give you this one. Hold on. This one I put 2 stars. I sort of gave you a hint. Always something. You should know what that is. Okay, so go ahead. Try example 5 by yourself. I'll give you some time. So to simplify this expression, look at inside the parentheses. How many people think that we have trinomial? Raise your hand. Oh, no one? How many people think we have a binomial? No one. How many people think that we have a monomial inside? That's correct. We have monomial. Why? Who could explain? Don't I have trinomial? Look, I got 3x squared, negative 4x, and 2. Isn't that trinomial? No? How about, who haven't I called? Aaron, what do you think it's monomial?
Because if you simplify, they're all one.
Yeah, if you simplify, it's just look at. Do I have any? What separates the terms? Yes, addition sign. Do you see any addition sign? What about this minus? Isn't that minus? No, that's negative 4x, right? Look, what operation are in between each of these terms? Yes, not terms. Factor, I guess this time. Multiplication. We're all multiplying together. So when I multiply all this together, Lucia, what do I get? Just inside the parentheses.
Negative 24x.
That's correct. And that's why you always want to simplify. How many people got negative 24x cubed inside? Okay, that should have been your first step, okay? Always simplify. Otherwise, if you were to distribute this 2x to each of this factor, you'll be wrong, okay? Very wrong. So, did you all recognize that it's negative 24x to the third? Okay. Then, who could tell me what to do next? Leah, what's my next step? What do we get when I do this? What's my next step? What would I write? Sure. Good. 2 times negative 24 times x times x cubed, which is then becomes excellent. How many people got negative 48x to the 4th power? If you didn't, do you see a mistake? Okay, some of you got like positive 48. You didn't recognize that it's negative 4 there, right? So the whole thing is negative. Some of you wrote down like 126 or something. I don't know. So be careful. No, because if you try to distribute that too, that's, you get. So be careful there. Any question? Yes, sir.
How to get negative 48? Isn't like 2 negative?
Okay, Leah actually told us how to do that one correctly, even though I changed. So I should have followed what Leah said. So this does become, look, all the operations are multiplication, right? So I'm going to use commutative property 2 times negative 24 times x cubed. That's what she's told me to write, right? And what's 2 times 24? Negative 24. Yeah. What's x times x cubed? Does that make sense? You see how writing these steps really helps you to understand? Okay. So there it is. Okay. Oh, see, I was testing you. Okay, x to the 4. There you go. All right. Any question? Sometimes they ask you to multiply vertically. You could do it. It just, I think it's a lot more, it's really unnecessary. If they ask you to ever multiply vertically, nobody really does it that way. Okay, so just, guess what you could do then? Just rewrite this as, yeah, just like the way we've been doing, just rewrite it this way. And distribute that negative 2ab. Does that make sense? You know what I'm trying to say? Really, nobody really does it vertically. You could do it, it's just, I think it's a lot more complicated than it should be. So, just do it the normal way, rewrite it, and then do it the way we've been doing. Go ahead, everybody try, see what you get. How about Eddie? Tell me what to write.
I have minus 2ab times 2a squared b
Good.
plus negative 2ab times ab squared
Mhm.
plus negative 2ab times negative ab
That's correct. And so, because how many terms do I have inside? We have